Hello everyone and welcome to the show where after the collision we sift through
the wreckage.
The wreckage. I am your host Jimmy T. That is my co-host Jamie the Vet Williams, and we are live on Humming Media Group's YouTube channel and of course channelattitude.com after the fact. Vet, it's been a pretty topsy-turvy week in professional wrestling, in particular, shall I say, AEW. And I know we're a week later about talking about Revolution, but Revolution didn't fall until a day later where we record the show, or the same night, whatever it was. But we're here to talk about it briefly right now. And Vet, but before we do get started, how you been and what's happening?
Man, this is this is one of those where I'm at a loss for words, but don't worry, I won't be. You ever notice when people say I'm at a loss for words and then they go on for like forever?
Isn't that always the case?
Yeah. Yeah, but watch specifically about Revolution, like, you know, my notes page is kind of empty. So we'll see what comes up when we talk about that. But
wait, are you telling me you weren't revolutionized after watching Revolution?
I may have been revolutionized. The Revolution was televised.
Hey, what?
I don't know who watched it. But man. Well, without any further ado, Jimmy, we got a lot. We could potentially end up losing our speed championships if we don't be careful. So like, let's start the show off. Let's acknowledge some people. Let's get a couple news stories, and then let's start sifting, man.
Well, let's acknowledge the chat first of all, because it's already jamming before we even got started. And first of all, Chris Willand is in the house saying, is a revolution for you guys, or was it just revolting? That's a good one. Inquiring minds want to know. I still have not watched since Miro was last on TV and see no reason to, unless you can convince me otherwise. Trust me, don't bother.
We're not trying to convince you, and but I would have to say, like, I don't think Miro's a good enough reason either.
Far from it, and they are back together, by the way, Vet, as you would know. Also, Darkside Caster is in the house, and he says, yeah, but where AEW is concerned, Revolution and Revolting go hand in hand. God damn. That's pretty dark, actually, Darkside, just saying. Also, we got, allegedly the master and ruler of the world. He seems to be the master and ruler of trolling, but nevertheless, it's Zane Vicious. And he says, let's get this fiasco over with. I don't want to miss Joel Osteen. Well,
don't worry, you could do a dual screen setup.
You can, no excuses. Also, our very own Jerome Hall's in the house saying morning, pal. Thank you for joining us. Who else is in the house so far? Oh, of course. They call him cold-blooded, but I say he's very warm. It's warm-blooded. He says, morning, friends. I hope everyone packed a lunch. There is a lot of wreckage to sift through, and boy, is there ever cold-blooded. That's a fact. And who else have we got? Oh, we got everyone's favorite coupon guy in TN Couponer saying, let's go. And, of course, my favorite my favorite actual hermano, or shall I say vato, it is J12 saying, yo, cabrones. What's cracking, J12? And, of course, the man that everybody tests things on, and it's Labrat. Morning, everyone. Morning to you, Labrat. How's it hanging? And I think that's it for now, as a matter of fact.
Now,
I mean, we've got a full chat in the house. And but before we move on, let's get into the news, shall we? And speaking of speed champions, maybe we're going to lose it to the speedball himself, because he says that he confirms, and I'm talking about Mike Bailey, he confirms he was getting visa renewed prior to AEW debut and was working on a new finisher move. I didn't notice anything about his debut on Dynamite this past week, but you know what I can't stand about him, to be honest?
The mullet?
He comes across as I know he's Canadian, but that damn smile, bro, it's too Canadian for my liking. No offense to everyone, but it comes across as so fake. You know what I mean? And I don't mind Speedball. Don't get me wrong. He reminds me of a Wish version of, say, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
He's definitely the guy that would get mentored in the 80s movie by the wiser karate instructor, right?
100%.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, what else do you want me to say? We're going to talk about him. So why are we wasting time now? Like,
that's true, but this is the news, Vet. That's what I'm saying.
That's the news? The news is that he was getting a visa?
That's apparently it. But also, Jeff Cobb, apparently WWE is interested in signing Jeff Cobb. Do you see WWE actually signing this guy? And if so, would he be a success, or they were just going to throw him in with every other Samoan, it seems?
He's not Samoan. He's Guamanian.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Sorry. You're actually right. For some reason, he reminds me of an Islander, but you're right. He's not.
But, I mean, could I see them signing him? Yes. Could I see them doing something with him? Sure. They could do something with anybody. Is this a little bit late? Yes. Because he's still, I mean, I guess he's still as good as he ever was, but he's just a few years older. Like, they could have done this if they really wanted to before. Well, maybe they couldn't have before. Maybe, you know, I don't know. It's Jeff Cobb is definitely, there's nothing, I have no problem with Jeff Cobb. But he does, in just honesty, he just seems like a take it or leave it guy. Like, if you take him, you could definitely do something with him. If you leave him, you won't be missing anything. He's very good athlete. He can wrestle like legitimately. He's a legitimate wrestler. He's athletic in terms of he can do moonsaults and flips for a shorter, fatter guy. Like, it's very impressive. He's a strong man. He's extremely strong. So like, there's different avenues that you could showcase Jeff Cobb. And he even sort of tried to develop a personality, which is like, it reminds me of Jack Black a lot. Like, if you remember like early 2000s era Jack Black, it seems to be like his sort of weird, nonsensical promos and stuff remind me of Jack Black from 20 years ago. But so I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Is he 40 yet? I believe he's hit his 40s, correct, Jeff Cobb?
He's right around there. If he's not there yet, pretty soon.
Yeah. We see Moose hanging out, it seems like, in WWE with CM Punk. Not that that's any news, but he looked like he was marking out in that picture, I must say. But there is an update on Killswitch, or Luchasaurus, whatever you want to call him. And apparently Fightful Select reported that their sources stated that Killswitch was in attendance backstage at this past Sunday's AEW Revolution 2025 event in LA. It was reported that those spoken to have not confirmed the recent rumors of AEW officials and had an alternative ending planned for their Revolution 2025 event. One source spoken specifically brought up Killswitch backstage appearance And when asked about the rumors of this alternative ending plans, it was reported that further inquiries into Killswitch backstage appearance did reveal that AEW officials did have discussions regarding his potential involvement in the AEW World Championship, and it was also reported that those spoken to did not provide any further details regarding Killswitch's potential role for the rumored alternative ending. That just sounds like garbage to me.
I got bored listening.
Yeah, no, that was just garbage. It was clickbait, literally, and it was just bullshit to me. So in saying that, that's about it. I mean, we can move on. I mean,
all right, thank God.
Yeah, other than SmackDown in Barcelona, which was pretty rowdy. Other than that,
did you have anything to comment on that?
No, just that that Gunther made me laugh by mentioning and saying Hala Madrid in Barcelona, which is that's heat, brother. Because Barcelona hate Real Madrid, the soccer team. So I kind of like that. But yeah, I think WB is going to be doing their European rounds for 2 weeks straight, correct?
Something like that.
Okay, well, that's it. That's the news. So I guess, and I'm sorry, peeps. I mean, there really isn't any news to talk about for real. That was
apologize.
somewhat. Yeah, no, but I'm being dead serious. Unless there's something else that we're missing, please let us know. But there really isn't, as far as I can see. So, Vet, let's put our gloves on and let's sift through Revolution, shall we? Because
all right,
it's pretty dirty, bro.
Ironically, the most notes I have are for the 0 hour, or should I call it 0 hour and a half?
I didn't watch.
I'm sure I'm not the first person to make that joke, but I mean, it was like the show. The hour took an hour and a half. If that's like not indicative of AEW in a nutshell, like I don't even know. How do you call something 0 hour and have it go over? You know, I can't.
I almost feel bad for you, dude. I really do.
Don't feel bad for me. Well, it took me like half a week to watch all of this. Like I could not do it all at once. I had to, I figured I had all week to watch it. We had from last week until today. And I said, okay, I don't have to cram it in. I can sort of pace myself. I can give it some attention. And
thank God you could have.
In the end, like it ended up not mattering because even when I was staring straight at it, I had that same feeling. Like it was the same feeling. Like, when I'm trying to cram a Collision episode in during my lunch break.
I know that feeling. It's
the same feeling. Like I'm like, it doesn't matter if I watch this in real time or not. But anyway, we'll get to that. That's just a preface. So right at the top of the 0 hour, this is the first opportunity for that, what's her name, Damaris Lewis, to expose the business. This is the first opportunity. So she goes out there and she says a slightly less stupid version of what she was trying to say, which doesn't make sense no matter how you slice it. But this was like the first option. They should have known from this, like, okay, we can't put her back on camera again. And also Paul Walter Hauser was out there. And for some strange reason, he locked up with QT Marshall. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's just stupid, dude. Like
who's going to buy the pay-per-view watching this? Like, oh, wow, that's the fat guy from Cobra Kai locking up with the other guy I've never seen before in my life. I guess I'll spend $60 now.
The idiots, dude. I mean, like I said, they mustn't have a marketing team for real in AEW. Not only a marketing team, but a PR team. It just comes across as obviously like they don't. And if they don't, please, Tony, get yourself some, man, because you really need it.
Well, here's another pay-per-view seller. You got Blake Christian and Lee Johnson taking on the I think we're going to be known, or these guys are going to be known as the Lucha Stars, Hologram and Commander.
The Lucha Stars.
Oh man, look at this. Speaking of stars, Jerome Hall in the house.
Oh, damn. Jay, my man. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
A beautiful man. A beautiful man, Jerome Hall.
He's very beautiful, as a matter of fact.
Thank you so much. We need this. You know, he could feel the pain of it. You know, I almost bought muffins today.
Oh,
that's how bad this was.
Damn, you should have.
The only reason I didn't was because I just didn't want to get crumbs all over the place and clean it up later. So just imagine me eating muffins constantly and being hurt and old and fucking tired and working with fucking children.
I remember years ago, actually, dude, we did a show. I think it was with Jago as well. And you were eating Doritos, if I remember, or some sort of corn chip.
Yeah. I thought
that
was
many years ago.
Yeah.
That was years ago already. Can't believe it.
Yes. Well, when you're the best in the world, you got to make content out of stuff.
I forgot to mention that, goddammit.
Nah, it's all right. Everybody knows. So they win with the Holo 450. Whatever, you know. Hologram hits a 450 on one of the dudes. Yeah. Then we do more promotion for Queen of the Ring. Everybody, if America doesn't watch this movie after all this promotion, every wrestling company is promoting it. So there's no excuse. But anyway, yeah, they have the director, Ash Avildsen, son of John G. Avildsen, who passed away, but was the director of such films as Rocky and The Karate Kid.
Really?
So, yeah, so this is his son making a movie, supposedly. We'll see what he learned from his dad. I haven't seen the movie yet, obviously. I don't know if any of you guys have. Let us know in the chat if you have. But we'll keep moving with Shane Taylor Promotions versus the Undisputed Garcia. So the finish of this match was Garcia has Lee Moriarty and a sharpshooter while Adam Cole is gazing longingly into his eyes like, even though we're partners tonight, I want your championship. I can't believe you're just going to put a sharpshooter on in front of me like this. And, you know, Lee taps out after everybody gets their shit in. So, and then they show the ops watching from a skybox.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the ops actually on Dynamite. But anyway.
Okay. And let's see. The Hurt Syndicate is in the gym with that one guy. Was it CT Fletcher? Is that who it was? Because they name dropped him later, but I wasn't sure. I think it was CT Fletcher. I
don't remember, dude. I actually don't remember because now it's been a week since I watched it. So, okay. Oh, Sean Dean apparently, according to J12.
Oh, well, it was Sean Dean and well, the Sean Dean and Carly Bravo are the infantry, and Lee Moriarty was their partner, but Lee Moriarty's the guy that tapped out in the sharpshooter.
That's true.
I would never make that mistake.
Never.
He's a tiger. The other guys are just infantry.
Oh God.
Anyway, yeah, CT Fletch. Then this was the match that kind of wasn't a match. I mean, technically it was, but it got thrown out. But this was probably the most talked about thing, I guess, on the whole 0 hour and a half was Chris Jericho versus Gravity, in which they just jump. The whole learning tree jumps Gravity, and then it's a no contest. They beat the shit out of him with bats, and then Bandito comes in to try to help, and they beat him up, and then they hold Bandito and hold Gravity and take Gravity's mask off, and then they hit him with the bat some more, and then Gravity's family comes in, and I'm surprised they didn't bat his wife and daughter, but you know, I guess even Jericho has a line he won't cross, and yeah.
What was the point of that, man? Where are we going now? We're gonna get a blood feud or just a normal 1-2-3 match?
We're gonna have a normal a regular match for the Ring of Honor title with Bandito and Jericho.
With a handshake before the match starts, since it's probably going to be Ring of Honor.
Code of Honor, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. So that happened. Then they went back to the interview area, and they had some guy named Young Gravy there, which hey, you're the music guy, Jimmy. If you don't know Young Gravy, I don't know who knows Young Gravy. But...
You know, I know a lot about music. I have no idea who the fuck Young Gravy is, straight up.
Right. I mean, in rap today, there's too many guys named Young. So, like, it really is hard already. And then when you got another guy. But if you've never seen this guy, he looks like if Chris Hemsworth had no muscles and he had the hair of Diamond Dallas Page from, like, one of the PlayStation 3 era 2K games. You remember how it just looked like a weird bird's nest on DDP's head? Like, that's kind of what his hair looked like.
Kind of like a boof even, like, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was whatever, ridiculous. And then the main event was MXM TV versus Orange Briscoe Boom.
Whoa.
And
Did
then
they
after
really
the
call
match,
them all
more
that?
marks get in the ring.
Okay. Cool.
That's all my notes.
Young Gravy.
Young Gravy.
That's all I'm thinking about right now.
All right.
No, well, like I said, I didn't watch any of the pre-shows, so I just don't do that to myself anymore. I'm surprised you did, but geez.
Well, I'm the best in the world, so.
Absolutely the best in the world.
I mean, the people had to wait like a whole week to hear what we thought about it. I mean, not you because you did a live stream, but still,
Yeah,
like,
I did,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying I'm giving it to you more so than anything else, man.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. So now we go to the main show, and this is where like my notes consisted of like I wrote the match down as it happened as I was watching it, and then I was gonna write more notes on each match, and then nothing ever happened. Like I never wrote anything else. So I wrote Hank Person versus MJF, and I made no notes on it. Because these guys just went out and did exactly like if you thought back the entire 5 years of AEW and what you know about it, and I told you these guys were going to have another match with each other because they've had a couple, what you picture in your mind is exactly what happened. There was nothing interesting or different about it. Or unless I'm wrong, you guys can tell me what you thought. Please, as we go through this, put all your thoughts in the comments. I don't know what you thought about it, Jimmy, but to me, this was exactly like, it was very much like MJF of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go home early or something.
You're right, dude. I mean, you said it perfectly, actually. That's why you are the best in the world. It's exactly what I expected, as you said. I mean, cool. It was a decent match. I should have been more excited for it, though, to be honest. And for some reason, I just wasn't. And that's a shame because you should be a little more excited for a matchup like that. But these two at the moment, including MJF, I don't care what anyone says, they seem stale, dude. Even though they're pushing him, you know, if you know what I mean, so-called push, if you want to call it a push, you know, they're on television most of the times. They just feel so, what's the word? I can't even think of the word, but it's a simple word. Stale. They just seem stale for me right now, dude.
You know, MJF was one of the guys I look forward to watching, but a match like this proves that if he's not involved in something I'm interested in, then I don't even care to do that. Like anytime he's involved with Adam Cole, my brain shuts off. Anytime he's involved with this idiot Page, my brain shuts off. And speaking of haircuts, forget about Young Gravy. What the fuck is Adam Page doing? What the hell kind of bullshit haircut is that? Why doesn't he just come out of the closet, bro? Okay?
He's got a kid, apparently. So.
Whatever. Probably adopted.
Yeah.
His wife's a beard. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I feel like you're trying to lie to everyone. Don't lie to everyone.
Is it are we getting too old now, Vet? Is that what's going on? Is it a generation thing?
No.
Good.
No, because there's people younger than Hangman Page that are way cooler than him.
I agree. 100%. I'm just putting it out there, man. Putting it out there. And Josh, yes, you're right. He was part of MLW, and MLW and the Dynasty days was in MLW. So yeah.
Jerome wants a picture of the haircut. Can you Google that real quick and find this dumbass's haircut? It looked worse on Dynamite too.
Let me see.
Because like when he's in the match, it's like flying around and stuff, and like it gets messed up. But like when he has it permed like he wants it, like in the backstage thing, like neatly tucked behind the ear, like a cute little pixie.
Like a cute little pixie. Let me just find it quickly. Oh man, why is it so difficult to find? I'll just type the match.
Yeah, and guys, stop disrespecting Zane. Stop disrespecting Magnum TA like that, man. Don't compare him to this.
Oh man, that's funny.
Just because a white guy has a mustache doesn't make him Magnum TA, you know?
Well, he's clearly trying to conjure that, right?
No.
You don't think so?
Magnum TA never wore bedazzled pants.
That's true, but still, Why isn't it coming up with this shit? I
Jesus
can't believe
Christ.
it.
Whatever. Anyways, so fuck this match. Hangman won. Next match was Momo versus the CEO. Again, I stared at it and I'm sorry, I didn't care.
This match should have actually been maybe a match that you might have cared about initially, but
I thought so.
But
then they lost me.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah,
but I want to say this though. You know how I said at the beginning where like I couldn't bring myself to like I basically just stared at this whole pay-per-view and like it just washed over me. Like I had no feeling whatsoever. It didn't get me angry. It didn't get me confused. It didn't get me excited at any point, really. I was just like, this is completely obligation based. I listened to Jim Cornette's review of Revolution, and he kind of started off by saying the same thing. Like he said, I'm broken. Like I can't bring myself to whatever. And I mean, he eventually got a little heated up towards the cage match, but and the women's match, but like he definitely felt probably the same way I did, where it's just like, what can you really say at this point? It's not like any of these guys are looking for help. They're not looking for criticism. They're not looking for education. They are very proud of what they're doing, and it'd be like talking to a brick wall anyway. I mean, isn't that exactly the problem with Hangman Page, is that he doesn't think he needs advice. He's not looking for it. He's fine on his own. His hair's perfect. His mustache and his bedazzled clothes are perfect.
You talking about on the right there?
See, it doesn't look dumb because it's wet right there.
Know.
But it still looks, it as it dried out, it got dumber. And then on Dynamite, he actually, I don't know. Forget it. Just forget it. So yeah, but I want to point out something on this match though. Because one of the things I don't like, so we clearly are not fans of this Revolution pay-per-view, right?
Not me.
And if anybody is, there's nothing wrong with that either. It just means that you like that, and it doesn't really do it for us anymore. But that's okay. I'm not telling you you're wrong for liking it. I'm just saying I've seen all this before. It's like a rerun. So everybody's match looks the same to me, even if they're different people or different combinations or whatever. It just looks the same. But one thing I don't like is when podcasters or broadcasters or anything, when people that have a platform, when they try to spin a narrative that's just factually untrue. So I want to point out the fact that like in the Cornette review of this match, Brian Last was saying that nobody cared about this match. Nobody was into this match. Nobody made any noise. And he was just basically saying like nobody cared. That's absolutely not true. The people in the building there were up for this match. They were up for most of the matches. And especially towards the end of this match, Monet and Momo got them into it. Now, they didn't get me into it, but the people were into it. And the people were liking the match. And it really bothers me when people just come on and straight up lie about what happened. Like, we can hear the crowd. So for you to come out and say, like, nobody cared, nobody made any noise, fucking yes, they did. Yeah, you just want to get your shit in, bro. So like, even that's why I want to be fair. Like, just because I didn't like it, but the people in this overall in this pay-per-view, they seem pretty pleased with Revolution. Maybe not so much the very end of it, but that's understandable, right? But the other matches, like, they were really into it. So, I'm just kind of tired of, I'm just kind of fucking tired of people lying,
And it's all across the board too, Vet. That's another thing, which is a big issue in the wrestling podcast world, and that's why he's the best in the world.
Yeah,
he doesn't.
Because I say I don't like it. I don't say nobody likes it. Exactly. I say I don't care. I don't say nobody cares. Obviously people care, and obviously these people are working hard, and it's really not meant to shit on them unless I'm personally going after somebody like Hangman or whatever. But a lot of that is just. A lot of it's, to be honest, a lot of it's just to entertain you guys too. Like, I don't care enough about Hangman to really get mad at him, but I'm just letting you know, being transparent, that kind of stuff. Like, I just say that. I don't say nobody cares. right?
Right.
That's stupid. It's disingenuous.
You're spot
J12
on, man.
says, do you like Brian last, or do you prefer if Cornette had someone like a J? Brian is fine most of the time. He doesn't act like a mark like somebody. James is also good. They're different people. It's not a either or. It's, they're different. So I think Brian is fine. I just don't like it when he does that. I don't like when he projects his opinion onto everybody and say nobody cares. Even if that's what he thinks, the people in the building are directly contradicting him. So you could just listen and you'll hear the people into the match or chanting stuff or whatever. And then he's just lying about it. So
it's not just him too. I've heard other podcasters too.
No.
The same
It's not
shit,
just him.
which I don't understand why they say that. Either they're getting too old and they can't hear shit, right? Or they're just talking out of their backside. And I'm leaning towards the latter for whatever reason. And Brian Last usually checks, like he keeps Cornette in check generally. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of surprised that he would even say that, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So the women had a match and it was decent, but I just didn't care.
Yeah, it was a decent match, but again, I didn't really care about it either, to be fair, but I watched it.
Yeah, the next match was something that we should have cared about, but for many reasons that we've documented over the past week since they've started this feud, we don't care about it nearly as much as we should, if at all, which is Swerve and Ricochet. So these guys are trying, right? But it's almost like it's like watching a movie out of order, when Quentin Tarantino put Pulp Fiction out of order, it made a sense in a way. That's just the way he wanted to tell the story. This was out of order in a different way, where none of it made sense, or it was completely backwards, or whatever happened. And then they did things that didn't make sense in the match. Like, for example, they want to do a spot where, Nana leaves and comes back. But the way they get into it is Swerve is beating the shit out of Ricochet on the outside, and Prince Nana is like pulling him off of him. Like, hey, stop that. Now, why would you do that? The guy that held you up with scissors, the guy that stabbed your boy with scissors, the guy that stole your robe, and Swerve's putting a beat down on him, and he's like, hey, that's enough. What? Excuse me, what?
Idea.
And then Swerve, does the thing where he like pushes him down halfway accidentally, like that whole thing, which gets Nana like, how could you do that? And then he walks off, right? But why would you try to stop him in the first place? Why wouldn't you just be dancing like right there in his face? You should be dancing in Ricochet's face. Like, but instead you're trying to stop the guy from beating him up. Why? Can somebody explain that to me?
It's back to front, Vet, like you just said before. I mean, it's weird, dude. This company is weird as a whole. And I hope it wasn't Nana's idea to just do that. You know what I mean? Because if that's the case, I mean, what's wrong with you, man?
Well, Prince Nana's been in this business long enough. He should have objected to it, no matter whose idea it was. If it wasn't his, if it was, he should be ashamed of himself. If it wasn't, he should have be ashamed of himself for not saying, no, we're going to do something else.
I agree 100%. It just doesn't make sense, dude. They really do things backwards. I just don't get it either, man. And even when I saw that, I was like, what's he doing? Why is he telling him that? It is what it is, Vet, man. And it does. It takes you out of the match, too. You know what I mean? To be fair, it is what it is, man. And like Darkside Castle says, AEW is definitely a reflection of the mark who owns it.
That's not him, though. I don't think Tony would do that. I don't think Tony would tell him that. Tony doesn't know anything about wrestling spots. He's not going to tell the guys what to do.
I think
he lets them do that. So that's on everybody else. But but that's the thing, though. I mean, to Darkside's point, after something like that happens, he could say, it didn't make sense the way you did that. But number one, he doesn't know that. Number two, if he did, he's not gonna overstep his bounds and tell the wrestlers how to do their jobs. I know at least he's on that. Right. He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna go that far.
It'd be funny if he did.
It would, right? But But I don't think he knows in the first place. I don't even know if he considers that. So it's just, they have ideas they want to do, but they don't know how to make the ideas make sense. Of course, that's not necessarily an AEW problem. That's just laziness across the board, which we see everywhere. But anyway, that's one thing.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you'd think this company and their wrestlers in particular would be motivated to change all that shit and actually take it up to WWE, but it's like no one cares.
I honestly think that some of their problem is they think too much about some of this stuff. Maybe. Like they're going way too, their thought process is going way too deep on things that don't have any depth, and it's not going deep enough on things that need it. So it's kind of a case of nobody really knows what they're doing. So the other thing that I thought was funny in this match, because whatever, right? Like these fucking guys, whatever. Swerve and Ricochet, you know what they're going to do, right? So again, it's just like the Hangman MJF. You picture these guys going at it. They've already had matches. You already seen what they're going to do. They did it again.
And it's a shame that we're saying that too, by the way. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Right. We like, I mean, I like both these guys. I assume
I'm a big fan of Swerve's.
Yeah. So like, we just want to see them doing something more interesting, I guess, or doing this, but doing it correctly, whichever way. But the funniest thing I saw probably on the whole pay-per-view was Ricochet was getting ready to do something to Swerve on top of the announcer table, like pile drive him, power bomb or something. He had like the head in between the legs, right? And as Swerve is like bent down, like selling, like getting ready to get pile driven or whatever Ricochet was planning to do, there's the monitor still left on the desk. So you just see him like reach down and like swat the monitor while he's like supposedly knocked out, but his hand like swats the monitor off the way. Do I even need to explain that? Like, if you're conscious enough to move a monitor, you could escape the hold, but shit like that is like just.
I know it's bad, man, and I guess that should have been Ricochet's job to clear the friggin' table anyway. You know what I mean? But what do? I mean, do you take that spot? If you were him in that, I know you probably would sell it too. You probably wouldn't even swat it away, which is the right thing to do. But is it worth hurting yourself over, though, Vet?
Yes.
There you go.
If he's not going to do it, don't do it for yourself.
Right.
I don't even remember if he ended up taking a real bump on that, or if he like
probably didn't.
I forget what happened, because I couldn't get that out of my head. Like, I'm
sure it was protected. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm just going to land on the monitor then. Or I'm not going to do the spot, really. Because we got enough shit. We got enough garbage shit that's about to happen later in the night. We don't need this. I mean, this is just a regular match after all.
Yeah, I know. So dumb.
So anyway, yeah. So Swerve ended up winning.
Number one contender now for the AEW World Championship.
Yep. All right, next. Brody King versus Okada for the Continental title.
I should have loved this match, but fucking Brody King is the shit, bro.
Yeah,
he really is.
Oh, well, not if you listen to Cornette. Obviously, Okada's the shits. He's the worst wrestler alive, according to Jim Cornette.
Wait, did he really say that?
He did, and then he reminded himself that Jon Moxley exists and said, "No, he's not the worst."
That's his way of friggin' giving a backhanded compliment to Okada. Let's be honest, dude.
Yes, the only guy that unknowingly takes all of Jim Cornette's advice. Jim Cornette shits on him like crazy. Like when Jim comes on and says, everybody does every fucking move they ever fucking known in their fucking lives. And then Okada does nothing. And he's like, this guy fucking sucks. He's boring. He doesn't do anything. It's like, well, you just shit on everybody else. And you said, if everybody else is doing everything, then you have to be different. And he does exactly. He's not going to work. I keep saying this over and over again. And I hope all you guys get it. I hope everybody watching, listening gets it, what I'm explaining. He's working to his spot on the card. If you stick this guy, if you make this guy fly all the way over from Japan to wrestle fucking fat Brody King, you really think on this show with all these women and thumbtacks and fucking swerving Ricochet and then the screwdrivers in a cage and all this shit. You think Okada's going to be like, well, I need to go all out here in the middle of this card and deliver a Tokyo Dome main event with Brody King? Of course not.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
If he was the only match or if he was closing the show, you would get a good match. What you got was the match that needed to happen here at this spot in the card.
It's true, and that's why I said King is the drizzling shit. Because not even Okada, and like you said, he's working to his spot on the card. But even then, you know, him doing hardly, you know, anything compared to what he usually does in the main event, say, he still couldn't make King look any good, bro. Like Brody King's legitimately a 5-move guy. Like, for real. He loves doing his cannonballs, and that's what he does, pretty much.
Well, he fooled Jim Cornette.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because Jim Cornette had to put Brody King over after watching this. Like it was all him that was doing everything. But that's the thing.
Fuck corny.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okada's just going to let you, if he's winning, he's just going to let you get all your shit in and then beat you.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
that's a classic wrestling thing. That's why I don't understand what he doesn't get. Like, he's the classic wrestler. Oh, I'm going over. Well, okay, you could get all your shit in. I'm kicking out and beating you anyway.
It's his bias, bro. It gets the best of him every time. That's why I've stopped listening to him, to be fair, man. I used to listen to him religiously all the time, but his bias now is just getting beyond ridiculous just by hearing what you're saying, dude.
Oh. I mean, I still love the show, and I still I enjoy all of his stuff except for, well, I even enjoy his his lack of recognizing talent because it's just funny to me. You know, I don't get mad listening to it. I just laugh because it's patently untrue. But even so, that's just his opinion, and that's fine. But I just don't like it when they lie. Like, the crowd didn't make any noise. Like, don't say that. You know, don't lie. Just have an opinion that's crazy, okay, but don't lie. That's my only thing.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, though. Will say I think he knows better. Let's be honest, Vet. I just think he has to. He has to, right? I mean, he used to love Japanese wrestling too, mind you.
Right.
And now suddenly it's this drizzling shit, but whatever.
All right. Well, anyway, Okada definitely won. And then our next match is the Outrunners versus the Hurt Business. Now, again, I'm almost turning this into a review of Jim Cornette's review, is basically what's happening here, because there's really no point in saying this. But I was like, okay, so he glossed over the Okada match because you actually couldn't say anything bad about it. You could only spin the narrative that you've been trying to say that he's the laziest, most overpaid wrestler in the world. But you couldn't actually pick the match apart because he didn't do anything wrong in the match. So here comes this match, which I thought actually way, way, way wrong the way this match ended up playing out. And I was listening to him because I know that he loves the Hurt Syndicate, which we all should and do.
Absolutely.
And I just knew that even though this match was all kinds of wrong, I knew he wasn't going to bury it the same way. And he didn't. And the issue I have with this match is, look, the Outrunners are my guys. Truth Magnum, I work with True Magnum, came up in OVW. I'm happy he's getting all this success. I'm getting all this push. I don't want any of that to ever change. But this gimmick is not the kind of gimmick where you do, like, whatever this was, like 10 minutes. Yeah. This was, they got way too much offense in on the Hurt Syndicate.
Which
like way too much.
It surprised me because I think you and I were saying last week it should be an absolute drubbing, right? I mean, like, they should just walk all over him, we were assuming. But to my shock, that wasn't the case.
Yes. It's like, I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching. I was just like, why is this? It was almost like the classic baby faces take 95% and slip on a banana peel and heels go over. I was just like, yeah, no, none of this. You're selling way too much for the Outrunners. It shouldn't be
dude.
this.
Weird. The fact that they all agreed on this is weird in itself, but I mean, maybe it was the Hurt Business. They see a lot in them, and I mean, we all do. To be fair, the Outrunners,
Right.
I love them, dude.
But there's still a way. There's still a way to do this, though.
No, of course, absolutely, and that was the right, not the what happened at the show, but I'm talking about them squashing him. Practically was the right way of doing it. You could have even progressed the story even by doing that, but instead, unfortunately, we didn't get that, Vent.
No. So yeah, the correct way to do this should have just been for them to completely destroy the Outrunners from the start, and then toy with them a little bit, and then because they're toying with them, which is a story they've told in the past when MVP was like yelling at Shelton Benjamin, "Quit playing with your food,"
Right, exactly.
and all this other stuff. Like they've already done that kind of story where it's like these guys are basically helpless, and then you can make a hot tag and get some offense in right at the end for a quick burst, and then shut them back down and go over. You know, that's how you should have done it. Instead, it was like, I don't know, man. To me, this had the potential to be like the only, one of only one or two legitimate matches on the card, and I was disappointed. So,
damn, and that's sad in itself because, like you said, they're your boys, man. But you're right. I mean, I agreed. I was kind of surprised at that too, man. And they looked gassed by the end of it. The Hurt Business. I mean, Hurt Syndicate now, whatever their name is. Like they looked like they were in an actual match. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. By the end of the match, but again,
because they don't,
I don't know,
because they don't work enough. So every time they get in there, that's you're gonna like if you're wrestling as infrequently as Shelton and Bobby are, you almost have to be in a tag team because
right, gassed, man. At the end of the match,
because you're gonna be tired.
It's true.
This isn't like the 80s or the 90s where you're on the road all the time and getting your wind. Like it's just that you got to go in there and so rarely that you're going to be blown up every time. So,
and I'm glad you said that because I've noticed that even since their debut, and I don't even know what their contract terms are, but it seems like they're not like full time. Do you know what I'm saying? They get weeks off.
Yeah. They seem like they're on the shows, but only like, they film all that stuff at once and then they can put it
right
where they need to, or have them be there live, but not have a match or whatever. And you don't need them wrestling all the time. I'm just saying if that's the case, you're going to notice it in matches.
Absolutely. And it's being noticed, put it that way.
Yeah. It's dude, even taking a week off, like
I could imagine.
Yeah, no,
and
yeah,
I've never been
I know
in the
from
ring,
experience.
So I know. Yeah, that's why.
Missing 1 week of training, like I came back and had a match and I was fucking blown up in like 2 minutes.
Can I ask you then before we move on, like as a former pro wrestler, do you need to pretty much train week in, week out just to, keep
yes,
wrestling fit basically?
Yes. But you have to it's a balance because you have to. This is why you learn to work and not just do moves to each other and take apron bumps and do all this shit, right? The reason you learn to work is you're going to get blown up regardless because, I mean, not blown up per se, but you will get fatigued, right? The difference between just being, tired, but still like you could go and being blown up is when you're blown up, you're losing so much oxygen that you forget things.
Yeah,
like you don't, like if you had some stuff planned, you might forget that stuff. You start reacting differently. It affects your mechanics. It affects everything. So when you're tired, that doesn't really happen. It's just, you're tired, but it's the normal kind of tired. You're used to it, right? You can probably go another 10, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you need. You have to, you even just going out in front of a crowd because of the adrenaline, you start to get, for me, I would always get like a cotton mouth. Like when I was in front of people, for some reason I would get cotton mouth because it's like, it's nerves, but it's not like I felt nervous. It was nervousness, but I didn't feel like, you know what I mean? Like scared. I wasn't scared nervous, but like, you know what I mean? You're pumped up, the adrenaline, cotton mouth I would constantly want water, but that was just me. And I think that's why you see some people out there doing promos and stuff. You see them like licking their lips and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's because they have dry mouth. I don't know why exactly, but it happens. And but yeah, just to answer your question, yes, you have to stay in ring shape. So you have to have matches that are a decent amount of time, but you're trying to increase your ring time, but you're also trying to limit your bump card so that you don't get injured by working more. Ironically, by having less matches, you become more injury prone because not only are you going to try to do bigger spots in the matches because the matches are more rare, but you're also going to be fatigued more in those matches because you haven't kept your wind up, right? But why do you think CM Punk looks like he looks every time he has a match? Because he's not wrestling enough. Right, and you can't train it. You can't just get on the treadmill. It's not the same. It's just not. So
and I've heard plenty of wrestlers say that. It's not the
right.
same type
And they're all right. I can tell you from firsthand experience. Yes, you cannot cardio yourself into ring shape. It doesn't hurt, but you will just get tired if you're not wrestling. Wrestling keeps you in wrestling shape. So you have to have enough matches, which is, again, out of your control, especially these days. Like, guys just barely have matches anymore. So that's hard enough to get yourself booked and then to just continue on and like not take crazy bumps and not hurt yourself. Like it's a tightrope, and I don't envy anybody having to do it. You almost have to, like, in your spare time, you just have to have, you just have to roll around in the ring with nobody or just with like one other person or something.
That's what I was going to ask also, but I don't want to I don't want you to go full on open-winded. That's probably for another show because we've got a lot to talk about, but
yeah,
it's interesting, man, because like I said, I've never been in the ring, and hearing it from you firsthand, is actually quite interesting. Like everybody's saying in the chat. I mean, even Cold Blooded says this is a university level lecture, man, and I appreciate that. I'm sure just like everybody else.
I'm even trying not to get extra granular just because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, I could explain a lot more about this stuff, but that's okay because next, the Hollywood ending match.
Ugh.
Oh, you didn't seem like you're a big fan of it.
Bro, overkill, man. Come on. Did we need to see tax? And the amount of blood was ridiculous, bro. I know we've seen it before in AEW, but Jesus Christ, man. Do you feel, I mean, with me just watching it, I think they went way too far. And I get it. It was a blood feud. But for some reason, me and women and the amount of blood and just the tax, and do they need to go there with tax and all that with women? Oh, no, Jerome, not again, bro.
Do you need to go there, Jerome, with another super sticker? Thank you, man.
Thank you so much, my brother. Damn, that's two already by Jerome. Thank you.
Do they need to? Of course not. Do they kind of I will say this, regardless of the match, like what they actually did in the match, if there was ever any match that was going to need it, it would have been this. Right?
I feel you, and I get that, but continue. I'll get to it.
I don't, like, as far as the whole blood thing, like, I don't care. If that's what they want to do, fine. Whatever.
Everybody wants to do it following this match too. That's another problem.
That is another problem, but that's the Tony's problem because he didn't space these out and put them on different shows. I think even to me personally, even having one match on like this and only one match on every show like this, that's still too much. Even if it's only every pay-per-view. Like if you're telling me every pay-per-view somebody's going to bleed, to me that's still too often. But it's not even that. It's like every Dynamite, it's like every Collision, it's like everything ever. It's just,
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just we're going to get these matches. So in that sense, right. But did every match need this? No. This match, yes. Yes, this match needed a level of violence. So I understand what they're trying to do. I don't fault them for that, but I just hope they don't fault me for, again, not caring enough, because I think this gimmick is stupid. It's not 1 second of it is believable. You know, like, for example, when, and it's like, and I hate to keep bringing up the same people, but it's the only people I can really think of that's a current parallel. When Punk and Rollins got in that cage, they looked like they didn't like each other, and I believed it. Right? 100%. They didn't do a bunch of like, okay, I'm going to Irish whip you now. Like, it wasn't a lot of that. It was a lot of fighting, and a lot of selling.
Like a real fight, like a real street fight in many ways.
Kind
of,
it wasn't
yeah. Like the greatest match per se, but that's what makes the match too, because it looked like they were trying to kill each other, literally.
Right. Nothing about, like, everything Mariah May and Toni Storm do in their promos and everything else, it's so cartoonish and unbelievable that you're basically saying everything you're doing, like, this is absolutely over the top, fake and phony, right? But I can now see you really getting hurt and bleeding. So to me, you just look like an idiot, like you're purposely doing this to yourself. You're purposely using glass. You're purposely using tacks. You're purposely going through furniture. You're doing stuff that I know is going to hurt you and damage you. And let's be honest, getting cut by glass, it sucks, but it's not going to like end your life or be like a serious injury.
Actually,
it's just,
believe it or not.
Right. It's just some blood. Get over it. But it's because everything you're doing is so fake that I'm like, I don't care if you bleed. I don't get that reaction like, oh God, look what they're doing to each other. This is a real blood feud. No, I just like, oh my God, these guys are just Jackass 4.0 or whatever.
Jackass 4.0.
I'm Toni Storm and I'm going to sit on glass.
But mind you, at the end of the match, literally sit on glass. Mind you, at the very end of the match, they practically hug each other.
Yeah. That artistic.
It was a Hollywood performance.
Yeah, the Hollywood ending, right? We got the Hollywood ending. I guess the best thing about it, if you want to talk about movie references and throwbacks, was they fought in the old style, which basically means like in Kickboxer, they dip their fists in the glue and then the broken glass.
Yeah.
So which one was Tong Po? Was Mariah May Tong Po here?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly who she was.
Tong Po.
Tong Po.
If Toni Storm said, if Toni Storm said Tong Po, I would have probably given this match 5 stars. But
come on, that's 5 stars right there.
Yep,
absolutely.
As it was.
They didn't.
Yeah, no, they didn't. No, she just beat her on the ramp and laid on top of her and hugged her.
Oh,
the end.
Don't say that. Don't say that, because I was never a fan of Axel Rotten. Please.
Yeah. IWA Mid-South Jones over here.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then you go from that, and then you go to Kenny Omega versus Takeshita.
Yeah. I mean, they worked their asses off, but there was a few things that annoyed me still about this match too, bro. One too many knee falls as well. Of course, we expected this between these two. Man, there was particular things, and I can't remember right now. I said it on the watch along. Probably should have watched Revolution twice, right? I mean, goddamn. I know I'm not going to do that with myself. I did mention it on the watch along, but I can't remember the particular spot. But I know I was annoyed with a few things about this match. And I shouldn't have been. I should have enjoyed that match. But how do you top that off after seeing all the blood and guts, to be fair?
Yeah, or getting excited about Kenny trying to win a mid-card title, or
that too. Why?
Just face a random Japanese guy. I mean, it's not random. I understand there's history there, but
it's not real history, though. Let's be real.
Right.
Big deal. He wrestled him when he was a rookie. So what?
Yeah.
Like big deal.
So
and I like Takeshita, to be fair, but
forget this match. These guys just did moves to each other, just like everybody did. But coming out of it, so who's over now?
So not Takeshita.
Kenny has a mid-card title,
right?
And then Takeshita has what?
Nothing.
Even when he had this title, what did he have?
Nothing.
Is he in the Callis family or not?
I have no idea.
I mean, he technically
is. Is he?
But is he ever? But okay, so we saw this week's round of shows, and we'll talk about it.
Right.
Spoiler alert. Every time the Callis family's up to something, he ain't there.
No, what's going on, dude? No. And they're not even telling us that there's no story curve to this as well. There's no story arc about it. So just looking by his actions, are we going to assume that he's not part of the Don Callis family? No one's talking about it. No one's saying anything. It's just actions now. Is how we're going to go by it. You know, what's going on, I guess.
But I don't think, I just don't know. I don't know who came out of this in an improved position, really. But regardless, let's not look too far ahead. A la carte, this was two guys doing moves to each other. So everything in wrestling now is kickouts, right? It's just kickouts. I'm going to kick out.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is.
Want to quickly shout out Mike Martin. If you guys want to work out with him after the show, he's offering.
How he's gonna work out via Zoom or some shit?
I don't know. I'll leave him to explain that. But anybody wants to get up off their asses and get moving?
I've seen his workout videos. I like it, man. I'm not gonna lie.
All right.
Shout outs to Mike Martin.
So, yeah. All right. So speaking of two guys doing moves to each other, here comes two guys that did every move ever to each other in a cage. Kyle Fletcher versus Will Ospreay. I
zoned out at this point.
Right?
I just saw this match.
Hands up. Yeah, hands up if you zoned out. Hands up in the chat if you zoned out.
Definitely zoned out. Yeah, cold-blooded, you're right. Crickets are a good source of protein, just quietly. Apparently.
I mean, you got to eat a lot of them to get the...
You do.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's what it was. It was damn crickets.
Yeah, like seriously, there's only so much you can take, and you had screwdrivers, you had a barbed wire bat. Do I really need to see another guy wrap a baseball bat and barbed wire only to then hold it against a guy's forehead and go like this? I mean, fair enough, he did hit him a couple times, but like what are we? Do you think Mick Foley was proud of that Cactus Jack tribute?
Oh, guaranteed. I mean, wasn't that called Barbie originally?
Probably.
Mick Foley's bat. It was Barbie, wasn't it?
I think.
Yeah, well, anyway, again, I saw this in the two previous. This match was a combination of the two previous matches, basically. Was it not?
Yeah, in terms of content and length. Because this went on for an extremely long time. Even as I'm sitting there watching, I'm like, well, I guess they're gonna do this crazy superplex thing now. And I'm watching this and I'm just like, wait a minute, how long has this been on? Like I snapped back to consciousness and realized like this has been going on for a long time and nobody died yet.
I was saying that on the watch along. I go, man, this match is not ending. Like, when is it ending? Like, and again, for me, as good as these two guys tried, right? And they tried. When you've got a match that's that long, and especially after seeing all that shit previously, how am I going to be invested in this? And this is another thing that Tony and AEW doesn't seem to understand. All the wrestlers, whoever fault it is, shouldn't someone say, hey, these guys did this, these guys did that. Let's fucking like change it up a little bit. Let's give the fans something they don't expect. You know what I mean? Let's surprise everyone. But no. Let's just give them the same shit. Don't worry about it. Who cares? And let's go for fucking 40 minutes. It wasn't 40 minutes, but God damn it, it felt like it.
I believe it was half an hour, just the bell.
Close. Yeah.
Like just from opening bell to closing bell, and then whatever the entrance is and whatever else. But so 40 minutes sounds about right. But you know, that's the thing. Like they did everything they could, for better or worse. So obviously they tried, they worked hard, and I'm sure to them they were trying to make their feud important. But again, like when you're buried on amongst some other stuff, it's hard. You kind of wish they could space it out a little bit more. Just one blood feud per card, please. Just so we can keep keep it,
but that's
emotionally level.
You get 3 for the price of 1, dude. That's what you get with AEW. They give us a lot of content. Good content.
And in fairness, I never bought the heat between them anyway.
Because it doesn't look legit. We all know they're best friends. That's true, right? But do they look like they hate each other? Like you said, Punk and Rollins legitimately look like they don't like each other. And I bet you there's some truth to that initially. I'm sure they're cool now, but you get my drift. These guys legitimately just, it's almost like when they look at each other, they glow, bro. They're like happy for each other. It's weird, dude. I can't explain it, but I definitely don't get that sort of hate between these two. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well,
so don't even have a feud like that if you can't get into it properly, guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, all I remember is him like shaving his head and saying like, "I'm nothing like you" or something like that. That's all I remember. I don't know why he was doing that. I don't know why he felt the need to turn on his friend, but that's all I remember. So I don't know. And then we got this. And then we get the main event, which everybody was so excited for. Like we all knew this was going to be good. And
I was done after.
Yeah, of course it wasn't. It wasn't good. Yeah, not only do you have to watch these two guys try to whatever you want to call this, but then you get the big Christian cash-in moment, right? Now I'm going to say something very controversial here.
Please.
If your object was to get heat, this is a great finish.
Yeah, heat for the wrong fucking reasons.
Well, what was the right reason? I mean, what is heat? I mean, do we just... heat ain't supposed to make people go home happy, Jimmy. So if that's what they wanted, they definitely got it. Christian comes in. He hits... I guess he hits... doesn't he hit Copeland with the Silver Scroll contract?
Whatever the fuck it is. It's a tablet. I don't even know. Yeah. When I say tablet, I'm talking about an ancient tablet, not a freaking
an ancient
iPad.
He signs it. He signs that thing, gets in the ring, immediately basically gets choked out by Moxley, and it's over. As it becomes a triple threat match, and then he becomes legal, and then Moxley chokes him out and gets out. In
under 5 minutes, mind you.
It was it was under 1 minute.
Oh, well, there you go. I was going to say.
Which I thought, because when I first heard about it, I was like, that sounds really dumb. But it actually was the very, very finish of the match. So, because I was worried that he was going to try to have like a short match with the two guys. But it wasn't like that. Edge was out, so he was basically completely out of the picture. So that gives him an out as a babyface of like, you came in and ruined my match, and you didn't even beat him. So fuck you and fuck him. That gives Edge, that clears Edge. Moxley steals the title and keeps it, so that puts heat on him as a heel, so that's fine. Christian's a heel, and he looks like a dumbass trying to capitalize on something.
Bro.
Yeah, right. Trying to capitalize on something and failing. So... in reality, of all the things on this show, ironically, the thing that everybody hated the most was the best business thing that they did on the whole show.
Unintentionally, mind you, probably.
Probably unintentionally, but whatever it was intentional or not, that's how I saw it. Because even though I don't care about any of this, if you did, this is the best thing for the story.
Well... I can tell you one thing. The press conference started right after this, right? I'm sure you probably didn't watch that.
I didn't see the press conference.
Oh, I did. I need to start. And actually, the start went for a good hour, it felt like, because Tony looked so, like, embarrassed, didn't want to talk. His eyes were beaming all over the place. He left it to Swerve to talk, and Swerve didn't even look impressed, straight up, right? I kid you not. And he was sitting there talking, Swerve, that is. I'm telling you now, dude, for a good hour.
Did he give Tony another pair of shoes?
He didn't, actually, as far as I remember. He didn't, but you remember that. But no shit, dude. And he was just like hiding himself, TK, man. It's like he wanted Swerve to just yap and yap and yap. I'm telling you, if I wasn't on the watch along, I would have fallen asleep. He was just talking and talking. And I felt like he was just taking the heat away from that finish at the end of the show. And, of course, from his own match. But it was just weird, dude. It was weird. And he was blinking a lot, Josh. You're right. He was like,
well,
ping,
what
ping,
else is
ping,
new?
ping, ping, ping.
Oh yeah, and by the way, speaking of Swerve, like as Moxley is leaving, like he runs into Nana in the he was trying to leave through the crowd, and there's that little tunnel there, and Nana was at the tunnel, and then Swerve jumped on him from the rail upstairs that did like a double stomp on him. So that was, at least they went off with a little high note there, I guess, if you want to call it that. But
high note indeed.
Yeah. So
someone was high.
So AEW Revolution, greatest pay-per-view that took place that day.
It was a revolution, pal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now let's revolve over to Dynamite and start talking about that.
Some people think this is the worst Dynamite of all time. I wouldn't go that far, but still.
Yeah, I'd have to check the tapes. But then I would have to check the tapes. So we'll take their word for it. Kenny Omega's in the ring. He's going to come out. He's going to thank Takeshita.
Weird.
Yeah, because, then he thanks the Dynasty Eliminator tournament too. Because guess what, guys? Now that Kenny Omega is the international champion, we got to have an international tournament to determine the number one contender.
Why do they continuously? And I was going to say that, and I forgot to say it, but now you just reminded me. I was going to say it's tournament season in AEW, and here we are once again with another tournament. Why do they have to continuously do this? Why not just book a friggin' program with Kenny and someone, whoever? Why do we need to go through this crap again, dude? It's that lazy. It's like, can he not be bothered to actually write a fucking wrestling show?
Well, I mean, he wrote a tournament.
Come on, man. It drives me nuts, dude. It's just lazy. It comes across as I can't be bothered. I've got nothing. I can't think right now, so I'm just gonna just do a tournament.
Well, yeah, but it's tournament season because March Madness, right? Like Josh is saying.
I get it. Come on. And next week we're gonna have, what was it? This NBA Jam Dynamite, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, was your bracket busted?
God damn.
Yeah, look. To me, I know everybody bitches about the tournaments and stuff, but really, what's the difference? You either get random matches or the random matches are part of a tournament. But whatever, it's still random matches. So I don't really understand why everybody's complaining. You got to fill time on this show, so you might as well
You're right.
have the matches. Right. And then does it matter if they're in a tournament or not? He just would have had these matches cold then. So it's the same thing.
So this is his way out of like, see, look, it's a tournament.
Yeah,
That's
because it immediately puts a stakes on something.
I get it. Whatever.
Whereas,
it doesn't mean it's good.
Nobody's saying it's good, but it's not bad just because it's a tournament. It's a wrestling show. They have matches. These are matches. Whatever. Speaking of matches, these ain't for the tournament. This is the Ops versus some fellas.
I'm glad we're here because those fellas aren't anybody vet for me anyway, just quietly. Two of them anyway. Yeah,
okay, who are they?
Well, I don't know who that little chubby guy was that got pinned, and I'm glad that was the guy that got pinned, but those other two are my boys, bro. They're from Australia. They're Greek boys too from Australia, and as a matter of fact, I think I've brought this up to you and maybe on the show, but they're called the Parea, really, which means in Greek, it's the crew, like the boys, basically, and that's what the Parea means. Them two, and these are the two guys that are best friends with Buddy and Rhea Ripley. Do you remember I was telling you this a while back?
Yes.
These are the guys, and I was shocked because I didn't expect it. I'm watching Don, I'm like, hey, whoa, wait a minute, that's Eli Theseus and my God, the other one I've just gone blank. for some reason. Anyway, see, it happens on live. For me, it just happens all the time. But yeah, them two, man, are they're the best tag team in Australian wrestling for me right now. They're from Adelaide as well. Their characters are very Greek, like they're Greek boys, right? But in the Greek Australian sort of way, if that makes any sense, the way our culture is here. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense until you see it. And I hope they get signed by either one of the companies between WWE or AEW. But I will say one thing. They've beaten a lot of top guys on indie promotions here, even international indies. And on top of that, it's obvious that Buddy was the one that hooked them up to get this sort of match in AEW. I just hope it goes somewhere. But look out for them. I'm not trying to be biased because they're Greek boys from Australia, but they're entertaining as hell if you actually check them out. La Pareja.
All right. Well, you didn't get much from here because they just got beat up real quick by the Ops. And then, yes, like you said, the other guy got beat by Shibata. So there you go.
Yeah,
Vinny Pacifico, apparently.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him before. I've actually heard of him, but couldn't care less.
All right. Ricochet promo. Just Ricochet promo. Then they go to... So, yeah. We supposedly... this was post-Revolution. We see Swerve. And he's basically saying that he wants to challenge, whoever... Because he's talking to Cope. So he's saying he wants to challenge whoever wins at Dynasty. And we're made to act like we're finding this out. Like, this is how we find out that he told us, but the announcers already said, Swerve's going to be facing Jon Moxley at Dynasty or whatever. And then they go to this and it's supposed to be the reveal that he wants to challenge at Dynasty. They've already spoiled that. So this is just another case of the production not getting
no one talking to each other.
Yeah, they're getting their wires crossed or whatever. Right. But anyway, yeah, so they give each other a fist bump because, they're nice young men. And then we get a Mox promo where he's like, yeah, I'm Fireman Fred and I'm going to hose you.
Honestly, was staring at the team. I even rewound it, bro, just to hear that again, just to be sure. And I still was going blank. What was he on about, bro? He said something about he couldn't even get this right. The ultimate opportunist, what they used to call Edge, for example. He just called him the opportunist, for example. Isn't that what they used to call you? Dude, he just dribbles shit. I just don't. He does not get my attention, dude, and I hate that because I tried twice to pay attention, and I started playing my little MVS Mini at this point.
Okay, all right. How was that? What were you playing?
King of Fighters, actually. You know what? That little thing is a lot better than you think. King of Fighters 2003, actually, as a matter of fact.
Oh, 2003.
Yeah.
You know what I like in that game, or it's some of the later ones, is there's a girl in there named, I think her name is Hinako Shijo. She's like a little rich girl, but she fights she has the sumo moves.
Right, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Which is the greatest idea ever, and some wrestler should steal that. One of these tiny little 5-foot blonde girls should do the rich princess gimmick like the Tiffany Stratton, but instead of whatever bullshit Tiffany Stratton does of being like a bootleg Charlotte, she should be like a sumo wrestler with her hands, her fingers taped up
but not fat.
No, not fat.
Yeah.
Small, extra small.
Right.
Like Alexa Bliss should do this gimmick, and it's too late for Alexa Bliss, but somebody like her do that gimmick, and then just have her take what's her name, Raquel Rodriguez, and throw her, just toss her with her cool sumo skills. All right.
Well,
anyway,
no, they should do something different, but they won't. But the MVS Mini is actually quite good, believe it or not.
Okay. All right. So this is funny because I'm going to see, how I was saying how the other podcasts, they just lie to you sometimes, right? And they shouldn't do that. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. I'm going to tell you such the truth that there's no way you could doubt me. This next match was Hologram and Will Hobbs versus the Swolverine and Trolistico. Is that right? So
yes.
is that actually a team?
But why?
I don't
Is he
know.
part of the Callis family now too, or
I don't know, but here's what was happening. By the way, Powerhouse wins with a spine buster, but
yes,
this match was on, right? And so I'm at work. Okay. It's my lunch break, right? I'm lying on the floor at work because I have a headache. I'm tired.
No shit. Damn.
Yes. I'm lying on the floor. I have a hoodie. I've pulled the hoodie over my eyes. The phone was resting on my chest. I listened to this match. I was literally resting my eyes. You know how people say that? Like, I was just resting my eyes. I was literally resting my eyes because I was fully conscious, but I just had my eyes closed and I let the announcers do their job.
I don't want to laugh.
And like 5 minutes later, or whatever it was, like I heard that, Hobbs hit the spine buster and won. And I was like, ugh. And I woke back up and started watching again.
So it cleared your headache?
No, but I really just, the minute that this match came on the screen, I needed a rest my eyes moment. So
Damn,
I figured this would be as good as any. Did I miss anything?
Nah, not at all, man. Not at all.
I mean, I heard the spine buster, a sound bone rattling.
Sure.
It was like,
you
bam!
Can let your imagination do the talking pretty much. But yeah, no, I was just confused why Jalistico was teaming up with the heels.
He is a heel.
Is he?
Yeah.
How? Like
LFI.
Honestly. Okay, he doesn't act like one. He doesn't even act like a babyface.
Well, he doesn't act like anything, but that's not his fault. We're just supposed to know.
Okay, cool.
All right, Alicia gets post-Revolution. So again, we keep going back to Revolution. Like, this happened after Revolution or after the match. She got comments from the Hurt Syndicate, and they said something about how, the Outrunners weren't ready or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it was very brief.
Then we have Timeless Toni Storm, and they said this because this was like, I think they played a package or something around this point, and but somewhere they said that this all started back in August of 2023.
No.
I was like, really? This has been going on for almost 2 years?
Damn.
Somehow
Wow.
It feels shorter than that.
It does.
But yet
dude.
it does feel like it's been going on way too long. So I guess.
Wow. That's nuts, dude. Have we really been talking about this shit for like, I'm talking about this feud since then?
I mean,
Time
at least,
flies,
well, Timeless Tony,
It's time.
at least that. Mariah May
Right.
came a little bit later, right?
Yeah, not too long after that.
Not too
though.
long after, but the feud didn't happen until a little bit later because they were together for a while.
That's right. And she was acting like Toni Storm, the old Toni Storm.
Yeah, but we've had to put up with this Timeless gimmick since August of 23. So
You know me, I've said it. I was one of the few, including you. Actually, it was you and I that said this compared to everyone else that loved it. We didn't like it really, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
well, the original
everyone
host of
else
this
liked
show was here putting it over.
Yeah, and we'll just
Yeah.
shitting on him for it. But
Yeah,
still,
we
shout out to
should
Chris.
yeah, so shout outs to Chris Ames. But I'm sure
we love
by
you, man.
now he's come around. If he's he's come around so far that he doesn't watch this shit anymore, which is great for him.
I think absolutely. I think AEW was literally the nail that's made him stop doing shows. Period. No, I don't blame him.
He's like these shows were so bad to him that he was like, I'm going to change careers. So but anyway, yeah. So anyway, whatever Toni Storm was doing, it was like a promo on the stage, and then Megan Bayne came out and beat her up.
I hate this with Megan Bayne. Like suddenly now she's like the bitch that just takes out everyone.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, cool, but she better become champion now then. And she's green as fuck. Like really, I think they should have held out a little bit with her, but whatever. I mean, she does look great. I'll say that much.
Yep. All right. So next is the Beast.
Oh. Whoops. Wrong.
Yeah,
thing.
cheer for him, and
Yeah.
cheer for who?
The Beast Mortos.
Yeah.
God
Versus
damn.
Wild Card. It's a wild card, bitches. Who is the wild card? He's the only guy that doesn't know who he's facing in this damn tournament, even though we just found out about the tournament. So it's not like we had any time to prepare either. But the wild card is a speedball, Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I had to do it.
Fuck.
He looked happy.
He sure does. You know, the first time I remember the first time I ever saw a speedball Mike Bailey match, and I remember my initial reaction. It was, if I was still active, I ain't taking none of that shit.
the taekwondo kicks you're talking about?
Everything he does looks like it hurts. But you know, that's fine. There's definitely room for that in wrestling, I guess, with a guy that has a little bit of snug. But I'm not even talking about so much the striking, but he'll do stuff to you that ends up with you like the Ultimate Weapon, for example. Like he's doing a shooting star into knees on your back. Hell no. Yeah. You couldn't pay me enough to do that. And imagine asking somebody, like telling somebody that's the move you do. Imagine the first time they heard it, like they never seen you before. And they were like, "What's your finish, kid?" And he's like, "Well, I do this move where I do like a shooting star press, but instead of landing flat and safely on you, you're like in a bridge position and I just bring both my knees down uncontrollably on your spine. You're cool with that, right?"
Jesus Christ. Yeah, sure. Do it, please.
Yeah.
I want more even.
Yeah. And the amount of veterans that have taken this, I can't believe. There must be some trick to it. He must be that good of a worker.
I was going to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. He must be the best worker in the whole of pro wrestling, because if everyone's down to take it, I mean, it looks painful personally. Like Jerome Hall says, blown knees incoming. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, when he misses it, and he's one of those guys that works barefoot, so he's got the kick pads on, but his feet are bare.
I hate that dude.
He's a karate guy, so what do you want?
Well, I don't care. It's wrestling. It's pro wrestling, not fucking WK, blah, 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 whatever, world kickboxing. Yeah, whatever, man. Go, if you want to do that, go and do that, man. I hate the martial arts sort of characters, the full-blown martial arts characters, if you know what I mean. It's just, I'm not a fan. I first saw him a few years ago in Impact. I think it was, I was appearing on the Impact Attack, actually, so I had to watch TNA before they were TNA at the time. And that's when I saw him, and I just thought, he just seems bland to me, and I can't stand his smile, dude. His smile is just like, he's going to lose next week anyway, surely, right? Probably not.
I don't know, but this week, he definitely won. Sorry, Mortos.
I know.
So, something about this kick, he did a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The speedball kick.
No. Yeah, what was this? I've never seen. He's never used this as a finish before, so I don't know. But I mean, did you have thoughts on it? Because you said Disco said something about it, or what? I don't know. I have no idea what people thought about this. I didn't say anything
about Disco, but it was just a roundhouse kick, just your normal straight up karate roundhouse, pretty much. And that was the 1, 2, 3, which is surprising. That was the finisher. But for me, like I said, he's going to be the new shiny video game or figurine, whatever you want to call him. And I don't know, man. I don't rate him just yet, dude. I think I need to see a lot more from him, more depth in terms of character when it comes to him.
Oh,
sure,
you never, no, sorry.
Well, then he's
don't
useless.
Hold your breath.
Then why do I need to see him on television?
Because you want to see people maybe get hurt with karate.
Oh, well, if that's the case, cool. But there's already a whole bunch of these wrestlers that hurt each other already. I don't need to see another one.
But with karate, though.
Oh, my bad. You're right.
It's a different.
It's Cobra Kai.
We hurt people with karate. Yeah.
I love that, by the way.
All right. Let's see. Renee's backstage with Christian. She basically asks him why he's a dumbass. And then he says, "Get the fuck out of here."
And then talk to Moxie's people.
Yeah, and then Nick Wayne's like, "Hey man, you fucked up." And then Christian got in his face and punked him out.
Why? What was going? So what? We're gonna have the bust up now of the, what are they called again?
Patriarchy.
The patriarchy. That's it. No more patriarchy. The mum's gonna go back to working at wherever he said she was working at.
Yeah, Waffle House.
A Waffle House. That's it.
Something like
Is she
that.
gonna go back to working, late shifts at Waffle House?
Could be.
Is that how she met her husband, by the way? Just asking for a friend.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Her late husband.
Hey, come on. It's pro wrestling. I'm sure he's cool with it.
I'm sure he is. All right. Lexi finds, okay, this is also after Revolution or during Revolution or after the match of Revolution that this guy was in, but Lexi finds MJF punching the mirror in his dressing room. Like he's yelling at himself and then punching the mirror. Then MJF goes out to the ring and MVP finds him in the ring, tries to give him the business card. MJF's like, after putting him over, then he's like, why the hell would I need any advice from you? And then but MVP doesn't take it personal. He just says, he's like, why would I need help from you when I was the AEW champion for 400 something days? And he's like, keyword is was, and puts the card back in his hand.
And then he takes it.
Yeah.
Like literally takes it like suddenly, okay, I accept this.
Yeah.
He's weird.
Well, I want to see MJF in the Hurt Syndicate. So.
No. Do you really?
You don't?
Yeah.
What's the alternative, man?
But if it does happen, right? And I wouldn't mind seeing it. It'd be different. But if it does happen, he's only going to be using him. Like, that's his stick, right? That's what he always does when he joins a friggin' faction.
I think if anybody had any sort of brain cells in their head, or if they knew anything about writing or had any creativity, this could be one of the best things you could put on television. I just don't know what we're going to get.
Right. That's the problem, man.
But if you leave it to those guys, if you leave it to those four guys, probably something good.
You should get something good. And MVP's got a great mind too for pro wrestling. I probably wouldn't let Lashley sort of dictate shit because he's come up with some stupid ideas if you've listened to some of his interviews. Just saying.
Right. Okay. Maybe not him, but.
Yeah. But everyone else, absolutely.
Yeah. The guys that are initials, let them come up with it.
And Zane, you're right. I want Heart bringing the nation. I know. The Black Heart. I get the joke.
Cold-Blooded says, so he's so mad backstage they punch a mirror, but he comes to the ring all cool and collect. No, that was the mirror punch was at Revolution. So he had a couple days to cool off.
He did. But he's still pissed.
He's still a little pissed, but not as pissed. Platinum X Caster's out doing his thing where he has an open challenge. Bro. And then the open challenge is answered by Takeshita.
A pissed off Takeshita.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Man.
You know what? I will say this. What's his name? Platinum Max is actually like kind of impressing me lately, like with his stupidity and just being delusional, calling himself the best wrestler. What do you say? You're witnessing live the best wrestler alive. Like, he still has to rhyme. It's so corny that it's kind of funny at the same time. But Takeshita absolutely annihilated him, and he's grabbing him by the head. I mean, he could have finished it earlier, but he pulled his head up, and he's like, yeah, whatever he said. And then, fucked him up and pinned him 1, 2, 3. Where are we going with this best in the world character? Because is he just going to keep losing and he's going to keep saying what he says? Give us some sort of story, man, to it. Like, I'm talking about proper, like, production, something. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to just see the same old thing.
Well, his old partners are MIA.
Yeah, where are they even?
Yeah, I don't know.
Billy Gunn's in WWE 2K25 just quietly. I don't know if that means anything, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, he might be in more than just a video game soon.
I agree.
Jericho cuts a promo to Bandito holding Gravity's mask. Very artistic here.
It's all about gravity, actually.
Yeah. Then is Willow versus Penelope. They have a match. Willow hits the pounce. Then Penelope hits the heat back. It's the deadliest move in wrestling, but you can only use it after you've already lost.
Right.
And then Statlander comes out to save Willow because she's still on the apology tour. And then Megan Bayne comes out and, saves her best friend Penelope. So
Megan Bayne is literally the Brock Lesnar of the women's division in AEW right now.
And not only because she uses the same finish.
Not just because of that, right? But she's because of what was going on throughout this show, obviously.
Yep. Renee is with 4 belts money.
4 belts money. It's true.
Yep. And here comes Billy Starks, and she's like, hey, I want to challenge for one or all of those belts.
Did you notice her wardrobe malfunction, by the way?
Who?
Starks.
Mm-mm.
One of her straps was down, and you could tell if you noticed her hands were here the whole time, dude, like basically around her breast area. Obviously, probably not, so they jump out. But yeah, one of her straps was actually down. Yeah, well, it was obvious to me. So not that I was perving. I couldn't see anything, but that was very noticeable because her hands wouldn't leave here, dude. It was just like they were always here. And then when I saw the strap, it made sense. I guess she was trying to stop herself from having a wardrobe.
We couldn't say, give me a couple minutes to fix this. Like we'll just tape it later. No, had to go live.
Well, like Josh was saying in the chat, we know what Jimmy was looking at. Now she's too young. All right, come on, Josh. Let's be real. I mean, she's only like 21. I'm old enough to be a dad for crying out loud, probably.
Young dad.
A young dad, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see about that later. Tony Schiavone is in the ring. He brings out Will Ospreay. Ospreay tells a story about his wife. It's probably none of it true.
What?
He did use the phrase. Now, I did find this funny. Ospreay did use the phrase when he was talking about being on top of the cage. He said, I was scared for my life, which is that's definitely something great to say in AEW, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but essentially he's just taking this long, Cockney accent English promo to say he wants to be the guy. I want to be the guy.
All pointless. Yeah, but do we need to hear
We
this?
knew that.
Not. Right. It was all pointless. He was just talking liquor, dude. That's all this was.
All right. All right. Renee is with Jay White. She says, did you screw Adam Copeland? And he was like, nope. But I will be the champ. So.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to mention that. That did look kind of suspicious. Let's be honest. The way he did it. It was very a Jay White thing to do, if you know what I mean.
Right. Did he or didn't he?
He did. Because he did, you know how he is. When he did do it, it's like, well. You know what I mean? Like he did it, so what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All good.
And then with we get Renee walking with Hang Person and his stupid haircut. And this is where he runs into MJF and they have another sort of,
I'm done with
little
this, bro.
Verbal battle, if you want to say that.
Do we need to see another one? I don't hate New Zealanders, actually, Zane. I like New Zealanders.
Yeah, it's Australians he hates.
Yeah.
He hates Australians.
My best friend is from New Zealand and lives in New Zealand just quietly.
Mm-hmm.
But he went to high school. Like, he did high school here, though.
All right. Main event time, Orange Cassidy versus Hechisero.
That I was happy with.
Yeah. Hechisero.
Love his music, by the way.
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist, absolutely. That's JR.
JR's on commentary. He didn't sound too impressed by that. He was like, he's the alchemist of wrestling. And JR's like, he's an alchemist. You hear that, Taz? We got an alchemist.
Hey, come on. Hechisero is the man. Look, this shouldn't have been a main event, though, to be fair.
No.
But since we got OC back, he's just nothing but a main event player in AEW, dude.
Well, there wasn't a main event all on this card. So, like, this might as well have been it. I guess the Mike Bailey would have been, for considering how long it went and the fact that it was a debuting guy, like, maybe that could have gone on last instead of this, but
I guess we did see him though in this match at the end of it. So
Well, yeah, after Orange Cassidy wins, because of course he does, and of course he out wrestles the wrestler, the wrestling magician.
nothing.
But yeah, Speedball comes out and does his little pose.
Does he Speedball, huh? Live on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
You're funny, man. That's why he shouldn't call himself Speedball. God damn it! Just stop it, all right? Because when I see that and hear it, I think of legitly a Speedball. But anyway, what do I know?
Yeah, what do you know? You know that it's time for a collision. That's what you know. Yep.
Oh.
And we're gonna get our promos at the start, like we like. We're gonna get Ricochet. We're gonna get Shibata. We're gonna get Mark Davis. We're gonna get Mark Briscoe. We're gonna get the Undisputed Kingdom. We're gonna get FTR.
Yeah.
A lot of promos this time.
A lot of promos. Is this FTR's show now, basically?
Yes.
They've been demoted?
I mean, some would say they are promoted.
Oh, I see. Well, I liked Shibata's little promo and his response to Ricochet, which kind of made me laugh.
Yeah.
Shut up, Baldy.
Yeah. Shut up, Baldy.
Shut up, Baldy.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But we're starting with that. It's Ricochet versus Shibata. I mean,
it went for too long.
A dream match anywhere in the world.
I will say this.
And yet, here it is on Collision.
I will say that I was impressed with Ricochet for one reason, because once again, he showed how versatile he actually is, that no one really gives him credit for. He was very much grounded in this match. It was a typical wrestling match. It wasn't your typical Ricochet match, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Every time I see that, that kind of impresses me. And I feel like he's going out of his way now to show that he can actually wrestle and he's not just all about flips.
I mean, you guys have been hearing me say it. I saw so much in this guy, no more than anybody else ever did, clearly.
Why do you sound disappointed, though?
Just because, like, I could see him in WWE doing bigger things.
I know, that's true.
And it's only just, you know, if he's happy in AEW doing what he's doing, then that's good too. But I thought more people could be seeing it, you know?
I agree with you. I think it was a bad move for him to want to leave at WWE, but that's just me. But again, if he wasn't happy, by all means, I understand.
Well, he said, I know he said that, like, he could feel that he was already at the ceiling that they were going to keep him at. So
I don't agree with that completely, but I'm not there to know that, honestly. But I still think they would have done something.
Yeah, in fairness to his comment, it's so crowded there, and even the guys that are clearly top guys are still, like, kind of scratching for that spot, because there's only, even if you're all top guys, there's only so many top spots, like, or not so much there's not, you can have your top spots, but, like, there's only so many top matches. You can only have one main event per night. So
you should be more patient.
And think about, like, think about, I don't know, man, like, Jey Uso is he won the Royal Rumble, and it feels like they completely forgot about him the last couple weeks. I know he's been on the show, but he doesn't feel like a focus, right? So
let me ask you this, actually, that you bring him up, because I've wanted to ask for your opinion on that. Everyone that I've done shows with about the WWE shows, I'm talking about with Ray and MSG even, and now RBV, all them think that he's not going to be main eventing night one with Gunther. That World Heavyweight Championship match will not be the main event. Do you agree?
I don't agree or disagree if we're talking about what are they going to do. If you're asking what should happen, then you got to have a world title main event.
That's what I said.
Because especially if Walter's not retaining. If Walter's not retaining,
you definitely have to.
Yeah. So,
but you saying that, though, how he's become an afterthought, it makes me think maybe they are leaning towards him not main eventing with Gunther or Walter, whatever you want to call him. But
the issue is, sorry to interrupt, but the issue is, it's like they Royal Rumble is too far from WrestleMania, so you had to, after he won, you had to keep that going, but you can't keep it going all the way because they're already out of creative for that. So that's why they had to put it on the back burner now and focus on the Cody stuff, because that's the John Cena turn is bigger. Although John Cena and The Rock haven't been on the show, so Cody's had to carry that whole thing by himself the past couple weeks. And yet here's Jay, but it's like we're not talking about him. But that's because we've already done everything we can. It's too much time in between. And so it's like you got to wait your turn for the promotion of the upcoming event. Actually, if you guys listen to Bucket Full of Chicken Necks on Channel Attitude this week, Russo had Billy Body on, and they talk a lot about, huh?
I'm surprised that Body made his way back.
I'm not, but he lays out a lot of things. They discuss a lot of things as far as like the creative plans. And he's got sources, and they make a lot of sense the way he explains how things happened and how they got to it. So if you guys are interested, I would recommend checking that out. Because I'm not going to go into it all here, but
no, I knew he was on.
There's a lot more going on than just these marks. Like, the usual marks are reporting what's happening, that they don't really actually know what's going on, or they can't report what's really actually going on. But Billy doesn't give a shit, so he'll just say it. So yeah, but anyway, the point is, what we're trying to say is Ricochet felt like he wouldn't be included in that group, so he got out while he could. I still don't feel like he's at the top now, but if he's just waiting his turn, then we'll see where it goes. But anyway, he wins this match with a foot on the rope. So like a dirty pin, like you said, not a flippy do thing, but a dirty cheating heel pin. So that's good. Then, you get the Murder Machines firing up Mark Davis, which how do they fire up people? They beat up nobodies in the back. They can't beat any wrestlers, so they have to beat up a bunch of extras. And how does Mark Davis show that he's fired up? He takes one of these guys and chops him in the chest.
Dude, you know what made me laugh about this match was actually McGuinness's commentary about Mark Davis. He said something about
We're not at the match yet. We're just at the part where he beat up random guys in the back.
I'll save that then.
Yeah, first we got to get to Timeless Toni Storm doing another vignette or pre-tape or whatever.
I'd say it was a vignette.
Yeah. Yeah, no one cares. Powerhouse Hobbs. There I go doing the Brian Last thing. No one cares. Yeah. No, I don't care. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Griff Garrison.
Where's he been?
Who knows?
God.
Yeah, this doesn't last long, as you can imagine. But then the other guys in his group, which apparently are the frat boys or something. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Not really sure. The Outrunners came out to make sure that they couldn't, I'm sure. I remember Will Hobbs beating up the entire Death Riders by himself. So I don't know what these three guys was going to have any hope of doing to him, but the Outrunners came out just in case, just to make sure.
And they helped.
Then we get Lexi Nair with Thunder Rosa, and she's doing an interview, and Rosa's firing up, doing a promo and yelling, and then Megan Bayne comes in and is like, shut that shit up, and then beats her up, starts the match early, I guess.
I was happy.
Yeah, so now we're like, oh, can she make it? Is she going to be able to compete later tonight? They're doing that whole thing, which is silly because, well, we'll get to it. Hold on. Now we get Mark Davis versus Mark Briscoe. Okay, now you said you had something that you were about to say from Mark Davis?
He was talking about like his backside being big. He's big. He used some sort of words. I can't remember the exact words. What was it? Say that again.
Dumper.
Oh yeah, it was. I think it was. He said back dumper or something like that. Actually, you're right. And obviously he's referring to his large waist area, if you know what I mean. And Shivani's like, what'd you say? He goes, never mind, Tony. You just don't get it, you know what I mean? But I got it straight away. That was kind of funny. So kudos to McGuinness.
We gotta get some kind of entertainment. Hey, look, I love Mark Briscoe. I'll watch anything that he does, except kind of this match because I was like a little bit tuned out. And he ended up losing. Yeah,
shocking, dude. I wouldn't have expected that at all, man. But he did. He lost, and Mark Davis wins. I don't know why, but cool, I guess. Not that I care.
We could have seen Kenny Omega versus Mark Briscoe. Damn it.
Have they faced each other actually?
I don't know.
I don't think they have, man. I mean, they've been in the same promotions, at various times, but anyway, no reason for them to really face each other. But yeah, that would have been good. Not according to Tony, I guess.
Yeah. And then I kind of I was trying to skip something because on my feed, the screen went black. So I was trying to skip ahead. And then I don't know if I missed anything, but when I came back, the Murder Machines were in the ring beating up some guys. I don't know if this was an official match or whatever, but they were beating these guys up. And then Briscoe came back out. Mark Briscoe came back out to fight with them. And then Hobbs came out behind him. And they all kind of just fought off.
This is stupid, dude. This whole feud is just weird. But whatever, man. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really much to say about that.
Yeah. Swerve is in the ring cutting a promo. And then he's talking about Jon Moxley. And wouldn't you know, Jon Moxley, I guess, was listening because he comes in the ring behind him and Tanya Hardings him with a crowbar.
I mean, really? I mean, I get why he's doing it, right? But shouldn't he be worried about Mr. Copeland first?
Yes.
Because we do have a match next week between them two for the AEW World Championship.
Well, Copeland wasn't here, so he couldn't Tanya Harding Copeland. He just had to. He had to work with what he had. Speaking of working with what you have, that's not a transition at all. I just threw it out there.
That's all right.
But Lexi Nair is back checking on Thunder Rosa's. Is she going to be able to continue? And I was thinking, what, she got hit 1 or 2 times by Megan Bayne, and this is the woman that has all these Tijuana graveyard matches and kicks out of a bunch of stuff and all this. Why would this keep her from having a match? This wouldn't even be, this wouldn't even be past the 1 minute mark in one of her matches. What happened to her earlier? Why wouldn't she be able to have a match later? I didn't understand that.
She got beat up by a goddess.
Yeah.
Legit.
Kinda, just a little bit.
Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I have no idea, dude. But that's AEW. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They hurt people.
Yep. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Nancy Kerrigan was hot, Mike Martin said. Yeah. Dude, all those medalists were low-key hot. Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan, and Christy Yamaguchi were all smoking babes.
I agree.
That's your gold, silver, bronze right there.
For sure.
And they're probably gold, silver, bronze in looks too. Christy, Nancy, Tanya.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that one. And even the chat agrees. Everyone agrees. So yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Zane.
I'm old, but I mean, y'all had the internet, so
that's true.
It's not my fault you didn't study your figure skating Olympics in school. Where are we at? They said we have a standby match. And I was thinking, what do you mean you have a standby match? What got canceled that you needed a standby match? But anyway, your standby match is Top Flight and Hologram versus... Oh, you mean Hologram was on standby? You mean he's not guaranteed? You got to wait for something else to get fucked up before Hologram comes out? I thought he was a given. Anyways, it's them versus Shane Taylor Promotions. And then the Crew come out. You remember the Crew? We used to call them the Koopa Kids, but they're the Crew now.
But they're still the Koopa Kids, except it's not as spiky, if you know what I mean. Not as round. They're wearing just normal jackets.
Normal jackets.
With spikes.
Boring. Yeah. So anyway, they bring some chairs out and have a seat because they're going to watch this match with Top Flight.
And they're just
Harley
smoking
Graham.
the whole time. Oh God.
Harley Graham's watching back in the back, right? And then for some reason later on, the Beast Mortos, if you want to say that again.
Mortos.
Yeah. Them. He comes in and he steps up to Harley Graham, but they just show him staring at her and then nothing happens. And then they also yeah, he didn't even growl at her, I don't think.
He actually did it.
Dralistico was on the Espanol commentary table for some reason.
What's going on, bro?
I don't know. This looked like one of those, like, I don't know what was going on with this. But everybody was coming out. Dante won the match, I think.
Seriously,
I don't know who he beat. I don't know how he did it. I wasn't going to rewind to care. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
So now we got Top Flight and Crew. You know, that's they're on a collision course, so to speak.
Aren't they the same thing? The Crew and the Top Flight. I mean,
they used to be friends, but now they're enemies.
Now they're enemies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blood feud. I couldn't care less about it. They've just gone downhill since they don't even wear their friggin' Top Flight doesn't even wear their bloody uniforms anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
Well, airplane pilots are getting a lot of heat these days, Jimmy. Maybe they don't want to.
That's true. Actually, that's a good point.
So the Lucha Stars have a vignette, and they're going to challenge LFI to a match.
Where's LFI been?
Well, Dralistico was on Spanish commentary, but other than I don't know where Roosh and well, we saw Mortos too. He was back there, but basically everybody except Roosh is hanging around.
Pretty much, yeah. Everyone except for Roosh. Roosh, I don't blame you, man. You just rush yourself on out of this company, bro.
Yeah. All right, now it's time for Megan Bayne versus Thunder Rosa.
Again, more Megan Bayne.
More
Too
Megan
much
Bayne.
of her, bro.
She's over.
Is she? That's the thing.
They're going to try. They're going to try. Okay, they're going to try to get her over. Then she's going to get over, and then they're going to fumble it like they always.
They will
I guess
fumble
that's
it,
probably
and
what's going to happen if I had to guess.
Dude, they're overdoing it too, I feel like. We're seeing too much of her. Way too much. In my opinion, anyway. Yeah, Megan Green. Exactly. Megan Green.
Megan
like
Green.
Mike Martin says. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a match, whatever. She hits the Fates descent on the ramp to Thunder Rosa.
Ooh.
Deadly. And rather than just taking the count out and putting the move over, she crawls back to the ring at 9 and gets in. And then Megan scoops her up and hits her with it again and just beats her. I would have rather laid on the ramp.
Me too. I would have gone for the 10 count, which makes it look more brutal. Her finisher, that is. But no.
Yeah.
We didn't get
and
that.
then I'd be like, get the stretcher. Stretcher me out.
Yeah, quick, get the stretcher.
Yeah. I don't feel like getting up.
I just want to chill. You imagine that. Oh, man. Anyway, shout out to Kenny F. and Powers for joining us, by the way. Thank you for joining us, man. Yeah.
All right, here's your main event. Surprising no one. FTR versus the Undisputed Kingdom. And we got... Yes. Oh, wait. Before you fall asleep, let me make sure you stay asleep, because we got Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia on either side of the commentary table on the headset too. So,
bro, yeah, I was done. At this point, I was like, I got up, walked to my computer, and started setting up. Yeah, I mean, I don't care, bro. I don't care about Garcia. I don't care about the mini kingdom, whatever they are. I'm done, bro. They're doing nothing. I mean, Garcia, like, he's still your TNT champion, correct?
Mm-hmm. Because Adam Cole wants that belt.
Does it feel like he really wants it? I mean,
well, if you saw the way he was looking at him with that love in his eyes, you know, when he had the sharpshooter on poor Lee Moriarty that time, then
I mean,
no, it doesn't feel like he wants it that much.
it just
no.
doesn't feel like just this whole thing with them two just feels like crap completely. They're not even trying to like make it meaningful either, in my opinion. Cold Blooded thinks it's a main event anywhere in the world. I know he's being sarcastic, but still, I mean, this just sucks, bro. I don't know, man. FTR just done. I mean, seriously, they're a shadow of their old selves. They just, they say top guys out. My ass. All right, they're pretty much mid-card
Mark
guys.
Davis's ass.
Well, yeah, Mark Davis's ass. And that's a big ass, bro. You know what I mean? But seriously, I just don't care. I don't care about any of these guys. And to think that I did care at one point when they were all in WWE, weird.
You cared.
I cared, but now I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, luckily, it's all there on tape. You guys can go back and listen. Channelattitude.com, and you can hear me not care about the Undisputed Era, even back in NXT. I remain consistent.
It's true.
I've never put them over, and I continue to not do it. I still say that Kyle O'Reilly is the secret best member of the group, but that's not saying much.
He did pop me, though. Remember at the start of the Collision show where Strong is like, did he say, Cole? He screams out Cole, and what's his name? Just shit himself. Like he full on jumped. Like it's like, oh, what? That made me laugh.
Trying. He's trying.
He's trying. Other than that,
he can't. He can't help that he's still just another white guy, just another average white guy in wrestling. It's hard to overcome that. And then he's put with these other cheese sandwiches called Adam Cole and Roderick Strong.
Yeah, but they were better. Like the way they were booked in WWE, they were more believable. Like, you know what I mean? I know
but there was a smaller group and a bigger focus on them. That's
true.
why it seemed like that. Because guess what? A wrestling promotion is supposed to what? Promote the talent. And NXT was really trying to get those guys over. It didn't work on me, but apparently a lot of people it worked on because you're talking about it. I've heard other people talking about it. I've heard Disco or whoever talk about how they used to think the Undisputed Era was good. And I was just sitting there the whole time like cheese sandwich buffet. But, but that's the whole thing. The wrestling promotion's job is to trick you into thinking it's a grift. It's been a grift since the carnival. And they're supposed to trick you into thinking that you should be a part of this and pay money for it.
And
right?
it worked, damn it.
And in NXT, for some reason, they did that. In AEW, they're juggling way too many things for you to focus on the Undisputed Kingdom or whatever. Like, there's too much Megan Bayne to care about the Undisputed Kingdom. We got all kinds of people that we could care about, and not that we do, but we certainly could care more about those guys than Undisputed Kingdom. So it's different than being an NXT where it's the exact same building and the exact same fans every week, and they're like running the show basically. So it's not that surprising to me. It's not that surprising that FTR hits the Shatter Machine and goes over on Roderick Strong.
Of course.
And it's not that surprising to me that Adam Cole and Daniel Garcia shake hands, but FTR still doesn't want to shake hands with the other guys. Oh, even sore losers, even sore winners. They won and they won't shake hands. Some punks.
Well, it's funny. I've been looking at some of the Sicko's forums, and people want another Pinnacle run, believe it or not.
They wanted a what?
They want another Pinnacle run. MJF, FTR, Wardlow.
Pinnacle?
Well,
remember
the Pinnacle?
Barely.
Top guys?
Does anybody?
Down here now.
Where's Wardlow?
I don't know where Wardlow is, but I'm hearing that he's due to be back very soon. That's according to the Sickos. I don't know where they got that idea from because I haven't read it anywhere, but apparently he's due to be back any moment now. I call bullshit because even if he does come back, he'll be gone again. Like, come on. I'm just waiting for him to get released at this point. I mean, shit.
Well, he should ask. Because
should. I'll ask
apparently
Wardlow myself.
it's all you got. It's all you got. It's all you got to do now.
Why not?
I mean, we already seen one Ray Phoenix vignette on SmackDown, right? So
yeah, see how quick that shit was. It's already like bang bang.
For all we know, they could have been filming that immediately, and they just held on to it until they were allowed to show it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Come on, you telling me they weren't contract tampering with him? Of course they were.
Well, they didn't even need to tamper. He wanted out, so it's not like.
No,
but anyway,
true.
yeah. So that ends your Collision. I mean, Daniel Garcia didn't wrestle in the main event, but he was still in the main event. FTR's in the main event.
As always.
I don't know if this is just to appease them or if they even care, but it's kind of rough. You know what I was noticing too?
What's that?
About this whole thing. Revolution, Dynamite, Collision this week. I'm watching all of this. You know, thinking about trying to review it, like legitimately talk about it like this is real stuff that happened. It's kind of a mindfuck. However,
it is a mindfuck.
If I was like doing like what Brandon does, doing a watch along with it, I think it'd be a lot more fun because I can just kind of point out the stuff as I see it. I don't have to remember it. I don't have to make notes about it. It's not that serious that I need to write down stuff and get back to it, because when I look at my notes, it's like it's kind of threadbare. Like I don't really have much commentary because a lot of this stuff is the same and it's kind of pointless. But like, I don't think the shows are that bad to casually watch if you just want to put some wrestling on. But if you're really looking for purpose and meaning and entertainment and stuff, it's a little bit harder, I think, to digest these shows is the main problem.
Well, look, you said it. In terms of wrestling, sure. You know, like if you're a somewhat casual wrestling fan, I won't say a hardcore because it's a little bit, difficult. But a casual wrestling fan, you want to watch just wrestling? Absolutely. It's great to just sit there and watch it. But as you said, there's nothing to them. There's no substance in what they're doing, to be fair, Vet. I like storylines, dude. I like to be, like caught into the moments. You know what I mean? They don't catch me, dude. They haven't caught me, honestly, probably since Cody and Dustin Rhodes had their friggin' match back in 2019, I think it was, when I need my brother. That was the last dude. I was
rolling my eyes back then, but
yeah,
it just wasn't my job to review AEW back then.
Not yet, but you're coming very shortly. It was my job. No, I didn't start yet, but I started.
It was
that
Light
year.
the Fuse. It was Ben and Silvio probably at that time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's funny how time flies. And that's when AEW felt, kind of exciting, at the time. I don't know how you felt at that point. I don't think we even met yet, Vet. But
more than now.
Well, yeah, same here. That's what I'm trying to say. I was legitimately excited back then, dude. But I don't know if it was the koof that stuffed them up, or Cody leaving was really the beginning of the end.
It was a lot of things, but the point is, I have to work up. Like Mike is saying, we want you to work harder, and so do I. I want to work up to the level of what I'm given. So if I have anything to chew on, be sure I'm going to chew on it. And if I am glossing over it, that means that there really is nothing to say. And
we still gave you over 2 hours, just quietly.
It's too bad, but that's just the state of AEW right now. So hopefully, hey, it can all turn around in an instant. So
I hope it does, man.
We'll just keep on. We'll keep doing that. But I think we're starving a little bit more and more and more. Like if I could take anything off this, I mean, there was a Mark Briscoe match. Unfortunately, it was against Mark Davis. There wasn't anything on Dynamite that I cared about at all. Like not even a little bit. I mean, there was a Jay White promo, but that was like what, 1 minute? It didn't matter.
If that.
Ricochet and Shibata was kind of good, but
that was on Collision.
Yeah, that was on Collision, and so I'm starving. I'm still hungry. This is a bad week for a la carte.
It was a bad week, and I was just happy for, like I said, Eli Theseus and Gabriel Eros is the other one, the Parea. Look out for them two guys, man.
Look out for the Parea.
Telling you. Yeah, the pareja. I don't know if they're going to call them that. I don't see.
They'll never be seen again. This was the last time they'll ever be seen.
Look, hey, they didn't get pinned, so that's a start, right? But I will say, like, I don't think the pareja gimmick will really work in the US, especially if you call yourself the pareja.
That's never stopped AEW or Ring of Honor before.
That's true. AEW is the only one that I think there might be a chance that they could stay with those gimmicks. But in WWE, they definitely will not call them the pareja. I think they'd look at them and be like, what the fuck is it? No one knows what the pareja means. We're not in Greece and blah,
You
blah,
don't
blah.
have to know. You could educate them.
But
anyway, Jimmy's saying keep an eye on those guys, even though they'll never be seen again.
Trust me when I tell you they're good, man. They're good. Like, go out of your way and look. Just trust me. Go out of your way. They're not only funny, but they're actually great. But anyway, maybe I'm biased, but they are pretty cool. But in saying that, Vet, I think it's time for us to take it home. So, tell them what you're up to, man. Yeah. The Rock. The final boss.
Yeah, the final boss. All right, what am I up to? At Opinion Haver everywhere. That'll get you started. You could follow me on all kinds of places, and I'll be happy if you did. You could check me out on the Next Level Wrestling Review every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern with Big Ray Hernandez. You could check me out on the Impact Attack with Brandon every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern to talk about TNA. You can check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers every concrete time of whatever time it is. Usually it's on Fridays at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And not this coming week, but next week, I want to say the 28th. Guess who's going to be on the show, Jimmy? Well, not him. So take that down so I can do the thing. Rob Van Dam.
What?
It's going to be on Wrestling with Rip Rogers.
Wow.
That's right. So mark your calendar for the 28th. The 28th. RVD, the whole fucking show. Gonna be on Rip Rogers. So mark that down and go ahead and click the subscribe and click the notification bell so that you don't miss it, because that concrete time moves around all over the place. Now Stevie Richards has a show. Look at those subscriber count. He'll be up over 100,000 soon if he's not already. You can help him get there if you haven't subscribed. Why not? It's free. Just click that button and hit that notification bell too. And every Friday, Steve Richards will give you one of the best wrestling, if not the best wrestling shows out there today, with a variety of content. This past week, he's doing a part 2 of answering the listener questions.
Great show, by the way.
Yeah, lots of great stuff, and of course they touch on a little bit of news, a little bit of match breakdown and analysis and everything like they normally do. What a great show those guys do. And I'd also like to point you to Timmy Baltimore, Limpin' Ain't Easy. You're gonna want to check him out too. He's had Hollywood Haley J, Matt Cardona, who's coming up next. I don't know, you'll just have to see, but go ahead and give Timmy a follow. And of course, our own Mike Martin's jumping on live after this. So if you want to work out with him, I guess click his name right there in the YouTube thing if you're watching on YouTube, and that'll take you to his page. And you can hang out with Mike and see what he's all about today. But that's it for me. What do you got, Jimmy?
Well, what have I got? Well, funny enough, I don't know if you've mentioned it, but I'll remind you, and it's best we do it. But it is Like a Raw with myself and the birthday boy, Vet. It is Big Ray Hernandez's birthday. It was yesterday, as a matter of fact. So happy birthday to our man and our boy, Big Ray Hernandez. I'm not going to tell you how old he's turned. Put it this way, he's just he's a young whippersnapper. Put it that way. Actually, he's
old enough to main event AEW. That's for sure.
He's definitely old enough to main event AEW. But so happy birthday to the big man himself in Big Ray Hernandez. We love you, man, and it's another year, man. Another year down the drain. So yeah, look out for that with me and Big Ray. I Like a Raw. Of course, me and RBV also did a Smack Attack yesterday, where we spoke all things SmackDown and, of course, the news. And heck, even Cha-Cha made an appearance on, not the real Cha-Cha, but it was Cha-Cha, nevertheless, on the Smack Attack. But unfortunately, you're going to have to check that out on channelattitude.com now because, like I said, if you don't catch it quick, you're done. Like you did before. It's like you're just done, man. So you got to go and check it out on channelattitude.com. $5 will get you not only the realest, but the best talk in all of professional wrestling. And of course, this very show, The Wreckage, with myself, and of course, the best in the world, the Vet. But that's about it, man. So in saying that, Vet, we're done. I am Jimmy T. That is my co-host, the Vet, Jamie Williams, the best in the world, no less. And you've been listening and watching The
Wreckage
right here on Hameen Media Group's YouTube channel, and of course, channelattitude.com after the fact. Thank you to everyone that's joined us, and we'll see you next time, and we're out. And again, Jerome, thank you for the super stickers. Always appreciated, my man. And yeah, that's it from us. Till next time, peace.